Hey folks, Tim DeMella, and next video called for our ninth step called devotion. Okay, what is devotion? Well, devotion is the willingness to adjust. That's what devotion is. I am willing to adjust to the person you are. Okay, not because you're bullying me, but because I love you. Because I'm grateful that you accept me the way I am, and I accept you the way you are. Okay? And so you have a willingness to adjust. All right? What's the difference between this and adjusting to other things? Well, there's a have to and there's a want to. I have to adjust because there are rules in place, and the place that I'm involved in is not willing to adjust those rules for anybody. Okay? So they're demanding that I stay within their rules, like I'm under their roof. And if I do this, then I never get to become an adult. Okay, I never get to become an adult. All right. If they have a rule book that they think is gospel, is the standard that you have to fit in, no matter what, then they are indeed children themselves. Maybe even in early childhood, infant, all ego. Okay. For instance, this country rewards a great deal of high intelligence and will look the other way when somebody behaves infantile. Okay, as long as they have high intelligence and power and can do something for somebody else, make money, whatever, they'll look the other way when they have infantile behavior. Okay, doesn't have to be this country. It can be any unit, family unit, company unit, religious unit, whatever it is, that's what it can be. And that's the difference. You see, that's the difference. In the last video, I talk about acceptance, okay, and the bridge. Well, acceptance, in a sense, really is unconditional love itself. I talk about a presence within you. That presence within you guides you like a parent would guide you. But when you accept it, it already accepts you. You have gratitude that it accepts me no matter what. Then the two of you start becoming friends. It will adjust to you as you adjust to it. And this presence, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, okay, that's what it is. It will guide you because it loves you, and then it wants to be with you, join with you, be one with you. And the only way to do that is for both in the relationship to adjust to one another and be willing to. And that's the difference. Willing to adjust. Willingness to adjust. If you're in a relationship with anyone, any group, whatever, and they're not willing to adjust, you are in a group of children and maybe even infants. Okay. If you're in a group of infants, then it's all ego, and that's what Christ said was the world. Okay. If you get into acceptance, unconditional love, this at the eighth step, you are actually now at the front gate and have opened the front gate of what Jesus would call the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God. Because those other people will not go to acceptance. They will not go there. They will not go to unconditional love. Their rules are their rules, and that's all there is to it. They will love you only up to that point, which is really called conditional love. And they won't. And so when you go into acceptance, they will call you. They will excommunicate you. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to have anything to do with you. They'll shun you, whatever. Okay. But at this point, you really don't care, because to feel accepted, unconditionally loved for who you are and how you are, you don't need them anymore. And you'll know you don't need them anymore. And you'll say, fine. And you'll just leave. Okay. Leave them to them, and you go on to become an adult. Okay. Remember, adults don't play with children as if they were just children themselves, all ego, because you've surpassed that. Okay, and that's what I mean. Okay. I mean, you'll play with them and all that. That's not what I'm saying, like parents with kids and things like that. But you're not going to be friends with an infant. Okay. And in this case, really, when you're an adult and they become grown-ups, I don't say adult, I say grown-up. They grew up physically. You really don't want anything to do with them. Let them be them. Okay. And that's just how it has to be. So let's get into the ninth step of devotion. So, what is devotion? Devotion is the willingness to adjust. So it would take quite a long time. It all depends on how willing you and the other is, how willing you are to adjust to one another. Okay. But it can be a really great time in your life, a time when you really do stuff together. You're really learning about each other, and you're really learning how each of you behaves and the whole thing. And you're coming more and more and more together because you're dedicated to one another now. You're really dedicated to one another. You want to be with one another a lot. You want to engage with one another quite a bit. You're grateful for one another. That gratitude, which in what we call positive psychology, that is the basis for positive psychology, where you convert into the negative because you always feel oppressed before accepting, to now you don't feel oppressed. You feel free, and you're grateful for that freedom, and you become not negative anymore. You become positive. You're really looking forward to life. Okay, so that's where positivity begins. All right, and acceptance is that bridge. Acceptance, which is the same thing as unconditional love. You've reached unconditional love. You know you have it, and now everybody in that relationship that is accepting each other for who they are becoming more and more and more as one. All right, so that's what devotion is. Okay, I'm devoted to you. I'm being dedicated to you. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Because I'm grateful to you for accepting me the way I am, and not me, and you're grateful to me for me accepting the way you are. And you say, well, if you accept me the way I am, why do I have to change? That's your ego talking. Again, you don't have to change. I'm not here to change you. The thing is, I'm willing to adjust. Change everything? No. Adjust. I'm not going to lose who I am. I'm not going to go against my presence within here who unconditionally loves me, because I'm not going to leave that behind. No, no, no. That's your number one. Your presence is your number one in your life. Okay, without it, you have nothing. All right? It's like the well is dried up. Okay? So, but no, I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to make you adjust. Remember, that's childish. I'm here because I want to know you, and I'm willing to adjust to you. But at the same time, I'm not making you do anything. You want to adjust to me because I accept the way you are for you. You see? And that's the difference. That's the difference between having to and wanting to. Both of you need to want to. And by accepting each other for who you are, then you're able to be grateful to one another and devote yourself to one another in that way, and everything becomes more and more and more beautiful, and you finally become complete. Okay, when you're talking about your spirit in you, all right, you're a complete human being. You become a complete human being. Okay, when you're talking about you and somebody else, you become a complete or whole or one entity, family unit. Okay, what some people maybe in the military might call esprit de corps. Okay, and that's what devotion is all about. Remember, the key in the first stage is understand. I want to understand you. I want to listen to you. What are you about? Tell me. Okay, let's communicate. The second key is in the second stage, called accept, the eighth step. Remember, understands the fifth step, and the eighth step is accept. Where then heaven, if you want to call it, begins. Okay? And the beauty of life, you can see it. You become more positive, and things start looking, instead of black and white, literally. I've had this experience. Dark or black and white, things become in color and more vivid. And also, you have a lot more clarity because you're on one side of the bridge and the others are on the other side of the bridge, and you can see them because it's like you're higher. That's the way the journey goes. You can see over the world, and you can see how it runs and all that. What's that called? That's called wisdom. You are starting to come just not into understanding, but into experiencing life. And that experience in life, positive experience in life, brings about true and honest wisdom. And you become wise to the world and just wise in general. Okay, and that wisdom and that love is the fruit that is said in the Bible of the tree of life. That's the fruit in the tree of life. Okay, but only those who accept, unconditionally love you are able to come to see that in any great manner. Okay, so Next time, we're going to talk about the 10th step. And the 10th step is the first step into the third stage. Remember, the stage before the first stage is the world. That's infant. That's being an infant. All ego with the behavior of being an infant. Okay? The actual first stage is childhood. You could call it after the age of reason, childhood. Okay? You still behave like a child, but you're willing to listen. Second stage is adolescence. And as we all know in adolescence, it's finding yourself, who you are, accepting yourself as you, and then devoting yourself to you. Okay? And that comes with a great deal of emotion. So you are in a lot of turmoil at first, in the 7th step, which I talked about in an earlier video, and then you come to accept, and then you start knowing who you are, and you start devoting yourself to that. Okay, and adjusting. Okay, to that. And the rules in your mind and everything in your mind that came from other people and the children and the infants and all of that start, wait a minute, this doesn't meet up with reality. Yes, because it's all dreamed up, because they're not willing to go there. So they have to dream it up. They don't have any experience in it. Okay? So and in the third stage, which we're going to start talking about in the 10th step, all right, is adulthood, is actually a real adult. Okay? And we're going to talk about certain things too, about who can become an adult physically and mentally, and it not being their fault that they can't. They're just challenges, the way they were born, the way their mind is wired, certain things like that. So those who is not their fault versus those who it is their fault because they're unwilling to compromise. They're unwilling to bend any rule. They're unwilling to accept anything that isn't within their rules, their own rules that they pretty much made up. Okay, so yeah, pretty much made up. Not entirely on a few things, but as an adult, you understand. I think you'll realize that. Okay, so see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.